Hey there, baseball fans. Tim Lowry with Backfields Media with you yet again for another episode of eMLB Top 10 right now. And today we're moving to the second baseman in eMLB. We've got a compelling list. No real surprises, I don't feel. But by all means, leave your thoughts in the comments, like, subscribe. You can also comment in the Discord what you thought about this. But this is a good group of players, and second base, while it's kind of undervalued, I think, in baseball in general, not so in eMLB. There's a lot of good talent here. Let's give you a few examples, starting with our number 10 hitter right now, Boston Red Sox second baseman Noah Campbell. This is an incredible story. Started off well. We're in the early days with Oakland. Lost his job. Spent a couple of years in the minors. Boston rescued him. And the last two seasons, he's been durable. And this past year, went from being just kind of a sideshow player to being a very good, very valuable player for the Red Sox. Hit .264, slugged .368, had 31 doubles, 75 RBIs for the best offensive season of his career. Now, make no mistake, it's his defense that is keeping him in the lineup. He's a plus defender in our judgment. The key is he has good range. He's got great speed, uses that to his advantage. Interestingly enough, did his best fielding and best hitting in the middle innings, hitting more so. 305 average with a 799 OPS. He was fifth in all of eMLB in zone rating for second baseman. Really made great strides in that. The Red Sox have trusted him with this position, and he has responded. He signed through next year. He'll be a free agent. Whether he re-signs with Boston or not will be interesting. We're curious to see what happens there. Comparisons. We always do the comp totals for players. It's always cool to see what big leaguers we grew up watching kind of remind us of him. Denny Hawking, good example, former Twins infielder. And interestingly enough, compares very well to CC Popovaz. So Noah Campbell is our number 10 second baseman in all of eMLB right now. Let's go to the number 9 hitter at second base. And it is Arizona second baseman Ryan Kreidler. Kreidler, excellent contact. His eye is what takes average to above average talent and kind of makes it just that much better. Does many things well. Suffers a little bit from the lack of gap power, especially in the giant Chase Field. However, he's done really well. Slugged .458 last year with a 128 OPS plus. A nice surprise was he drew 73 walks. So pitchers are starting to pay attention to him, saw that he was doing some damage, and had the best OP on-base percentage of his young major league career. In close late games, he had a 1.041 OPS with 5 homers. He's a great high leverage hitter, 162 OPS plus. Loved having him in. He was very consistent, very clutch. Interesting comparisons also to CCP's. Kreidler is not one, but he comped very well to Jack Lawless and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And a former player from earlier in this century, Atlanta Braves, Marcus Giles, comped him. And I can see that very well. Not bad for a 13th round pick many years ago. Interesting to see what his career will become, or whether or not he potentially becomes trade bait. We'll see. He is the number 9 second baseman in all of eMLB right now. It's Ryan Kriebler with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, coming in at number 8, some guy. Anybody know him? James LeBlanc for the American League champ Chicago White Sox. There was some concern about him in eMLB circles. He was on his 4th team in 4 years. Folks weren't really sure what was happening here, and got traded near the trade deadline, kind of mid-season, to the White Sox. And interestingly enough, that team just took off. They had a phenomenal second half of the year. LeBlanc can be said to be a part of that. Gave that team veteran presence. He and Pedro Serrano did. And he elevated his game. As you can see in the stats, had been hitting a little bit better for average with Cincinnati, but delivered more, had some more power, 29 doubles, 14 homers, made significant contributions in the field. And folks around the White Sox made it pretty clear it was his leadership that was the key thing. 31-year-old player with above average talent in everything but power, and even that is right at the average mark. Exceptional defense, excellent steal ability and speed. Does a lot of things well, and is a tough out. He scored 78 runs in just 103 games, which I thought was pretty interesting. Just to see how much he was on base. And yes, had a pretty decent lineup behind him. We've been talking a lot about Chicago White Sox players in this top 10, but LeBlanc made the most of his attempts there. Still steals 20-plus bases. He only hit leadoff all season, never took a plate appearance in any position other than the number 1 spot. I have the sense LeBlanc is going to like the comps. Dustin Pedroia was the main comp. Marty McManus, who was a star in the 20s and 30s, 1920s and 30s, that is. Ben Zobrist, famous everywhere man, there for the Rays for some time. And by age, this past season compared extremely well to Lou Whitaker, who was a Detroit Tigers second baseman back in the day. Our number 8 second baseman in eMLB right now, and our first CCP, James LeBlanc with the White Sox. Now let's go to number 7. And number 7 is brand new Philadelphia Philly, J-Rod Carew. The Panamanian Devil is considered quite possibly one of the best pure hitters in the game right now, right? Or at the very least, he's on a very short list. Now, let's deal with things right up front. He had quite the controversial offseason, left Toronto with a lot of things having been said. Philly came in. Seems like they have a good understanding up front. So we don't see that issue continuing. But make no mistake, this is a quality hitter, has good speed, great defense, And although his numbers were down pretty much across the board all season, although he did have 9 homers as compared to 6 in the previous, it's not felt that there was something lacking in his game. Scouts aren't seeing any sort of noticeable change. This is a guy who's a natural defender, can play any position in the infield. This is the kind of person that becomes a cornerstone of a franchise. Great work ethic. The fans love him. He's coming to a team that is on a mission. And I think Carew is on a bit of a mission to kind of prove himself. So we will see. He had an incredible July, had a 188 OPS plus for the month, hit 5 of his 9 home runs in that month. He compares most favorably to late 1920 star Fresco Thompson, another CCP, Jackson Hedges, and interestingly enough, also compares rather well to Dustin Pedroia, at least especially at this age 26. So we will see, expecting some impressive things out of Carew as he continues on. And right now, he is our number 7 second baseman in all of eMLB. Let's move on to number 6. Got a rarity here. Back-to-back players for the same team. And again, we're going by the number of innings that were played. Of course, Carew was with Toronto last year. And it's Bobby Orr, the league's first offensive closer. Just has a dynamite reputation as the kind of player you want in the clutch. You look at the ratings, and it kind of proves what people say about out of the park. You can't just judge by ratings. You can't just judge by stats. It's got to be a mix of the two. Orr shows that. You look at it, all of the skill set with the exception of the power is average to a tick below average in case of eye. The power is clearly above average. Speed, stealing aggressiveness, above average. But the defense is elite. First and second base is elite. Third base is close to that. And even though he had a down year offensively in comparison to 2029, in terms of average and slugging percentage, he still accumulated just as much, as a matter of fact, a little bit more WAR than he did in 2029, primarily because of his defensive efficiency. Now, again, he's got the reputation that he delivers in the clutch, and he did. In close late games, he hit .310 with a 121 OPS plus. From the 7th inning on, he was just shy of hitting 300. This is the guy you want up to the bat when there are runners on base, when the game is close, when the game is in the balance. Bobby Orr is probably one of the first people that most general managers in our league are looking for, would look for in that spot. He was 4th in fielding percentage and 2nd overall in defensive efficiency. Compares very well to Mike Moeller of the LA Angels. Scooter Gennett, and I like this comp, Butch Hobson of the 70s and early 80s Boston Red Sox. And yeah, I'm getting Hobson vibes here, especially at the plate. Very clutch, delivers. Bobby Orr is our number 6 second baseman in the eMLB right now. Let's go to number 5. And our number 5 second baseman in the eMLB, National League Rookie of the Year, Jack Lawless. Hit .288, 20 homers. This is an above average hitter. Contact beginning to grade out as plus plus. The scouting crew here feels like this guy's going to be a star for some time. An incredible rookie season. I don't think anybody expected him to do as well as he did. Even in his minor league stops, has not shown the overall value like he did last year. Showed the power between rookie ball and AAA in Winter League and AAA last year, but even then, Winter League's kind of its own animal. But to come up with 20 homers, 70, he was really a defensive first guy all along. But the bat has really come alive. Can play any position in the infield. Can even, as you see, play a little bit of catcher. Yeah, at least won't get himself killed back there. Great range and a great arm, especially for a second baseman. Lawless has some real quality here. He excelled hitting third or fourth in the lineup. That's where he did his best work. He comps to Angel Flores, current eMLB player, Ryan Kreidler, who we just saw a couple of picks ago, and his historical comp for the first season at age 23, Ian Kinsler. And I see that. I'd be curious to see if he could continue in that vein and continue to hit and be the kind of leader that Kinsler was. Jack Lawless is our number 5 second baseman in the eMLB right now. Let's move on to number 4. And number 4 is Kenny Rodriguez. Now, as of filming this, there are rumors that he is about to sign a multi-year deal. We will see what happens with that. Might post a comment in the bottom here if he has signed by the time this is released. Rodriguez is average, slightly above in all hitting characteristics, a plus power guy. Really hits the ball with authority and drives it. He's got exceptional base running skill. He hit 362 with a 209 OPS in the late innings. He had the season of his career. It reminded a lot of viewers of what he was like when he broke in with the Yankees and was just playing so extremely well. Houston's had him for the past 3 years, and they really had to be happy with what they got out of him for those 3 seasons. Last year, he just doubled rather, what he had done the season before. Be interesting to see how he does on his new team. He will certainly be a leader on that team. Compares to Hank Blaylock, who was a young star in Texas in the early 2000s, and I remember him from I always tried to trade for him when I was doing Tiger saves back in the mid-2000s. He was just such a great player. Brendan Rodgers, he compares to, and also a young Javi Baez, a pre-meme Javi Baez, if you will. Kenny Rodriguez is our number 4 second baseman in eMLB right now. We're to our top 3. We've had a run of CCPs. As a matter of fact, the last 5. Now our number 3 is Royce Lewis, member of the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. Lewis hit 310 with a 386 on base, slugged 500. You don't expect, 500 slugging from your middle infielder, but okay, we'll take it. A 5-tool player, incredible intangibles. He was the leader of this team. And he has, in many ways, become the face of the franchise, despite them having CCPs like Andrew Alexander, Shane Rodecker, Matthew Bellows. Lewis was the leader on that team. Second straight year, he's led the league in stolen bases. If you look back into the 2026 season when he first came to the Cards in that trade with Minnesota, this stat line looks eerily similar to what he did in that year. Just thought that was a unique thing with his line. Had 5 leadoff homers this year. One area of concern, had a lot of nagging injuries. Had one that cost him, I think it was a groin injury that kind of lingered a little bit. Had injuries in the playoffs as well. Something to watch. Some question as to whether or not he would be extended. He's with the Cardinals until 2035. This is a really great player. He's the number 3 second baseman in eMLB. Royce Lewis of the St. Louis Cardinals. Next is our number 2 second baseman in eMLB, and it is Alfredo Espinoza of the Baltimore Orioles. Kind of come out of nowhere. In his 2.5 seasons, he's hit 96 home runs. Tremendous power hitter. This is one of the few top 10 players that you will see that has below average contact. Some of our scouts are like frighteningly low contact. Very surprised that he has been this efficient and this productive with that. That said, the game has changed, though, hasn't it? Used to be a player with this kind of profile would have struggled to stay in the lineup. Espinoza, though, with his power, with his eye, with his ability to steal, this is the Orioles' leadoff hitter, and a good one. I really like the eye. He's getting on base. 91 walks this past season. Is not striking out a lot when you consider that he doesn't really make good contact. Now, no surprise, got a BABIP of 236. So not all contact is great contact. But when he hits that round ball square, it goes quite a bit. Extremely talented defensively, can play virtually any position except behind the plate, and probably could do that too. Second base, he is plus. Third base, even better. Has an elite arm, which is something you don't see a lot with second basemen. Alfredo hit 406 on an 0-1 count. So he's one of those, kind of one of my favorites, where getting a strike on him is you just dug yourself a hole. He did make contact there and really focuses. This is a great player. Fans love him. He's one to build around, and an exciting player. Alfredo Espinoza is our number 2 second baseman in eMLB right now. And that takes us to our number 1, the finest in the field. And it is New York Yankees second baseman Jackson Hedges. New York writers were in a fury this past season because he only hit 321 with a 394 on base and a 568 slugging, because it was well off his career high totals. He had 50 fewer hits, almost 10 fewer homers, 30 fewer RBIs, And the Yankees in general just kind of had a downturn. I mean, it wasn't just Hedges. And it was almost like, well, you know how New York media is. They're just ready to write him off. We don't. We think he is the best. I mean, how can you lose more than 3 WAR off your results from year to year and still be considered the best? It's because he can do everything. Only thing that struggles a little bit with is some gap power. Yankee Stadium, that's not that big a deal. And he's still 26 doubles, more than enough. 17 steals. He did not steal as much. So, there was that. But just a tremendous contact hitter, does not strike out, can run, great fielder, has all the tools. Struck out significantly less. That's one thing where he really improved. Almost 40 fewer strikeouts over the course of the year. Just imagine, he's figuring it out. Can't imagine what he is going to be as he continues to mature. He will definitely be a constant in all-star games and MVP voting, Gold Glove voting. He is the best second baseman in eMLB. He's Jackson Hedges of the New York Yankees. He comps extremely well to J-Rod Carew, who we just saw a little while ago, and also third baseman Jeff Coleman. In fact, of the 9 players that show up in his comparison list, 8 of them are fellow CCPs. So Hedges is in really good company, and he is the number 1 second baseman for us. How did we do? You think we got it right? Did we miss somebody? Somebody here too high? Tell us what you think in the comments below. Comment on Discord. If you love baseball and you're interested in a different approach, come watch us on Twitch. The eMLB is an online league that is powered by the Out of the Park baseball engine. Commish has streams every Tuesday and Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Sunday is a coffee with the Commish, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're in Winter League right now, but it will be coming up on the regular season very quickly. We play about 2 seasons a year, so it's a nice pace. It's a lot of fun. Great folks. You will have a great time. Like and subscribe to this channel. Also, please subscribe to the official eMLB Universe channel in the link there below. And for all of us at Backfields Media, I'm Tim Lowry. Hoping you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time when we're talking about the top 10 right fielders in baseball. See you then.